Hello, everyone. My name is Craig. I'm your recovery coach, and welcome back to another edition of Live at Five. We are here today. We're doing our men in training. Yes, men in training MIT mentoring session, and we got some good information to share. And I'm gonna read some house cleaning business to let you know what's going on in the community with all of us that's part of Cumberland County Human Services. And so, without further ado, on Wednesday, this Wednesday coming up, we're going to have our robust. I want to get that out the way because I think that's very important. Our robust this Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. going to be at Lowry's Liquor, 1428 East Buck Shooting Road, Millville, New Jersey. And on next week, our robust will be at the New Jersey State Police Barrack. Police Barrack, 1 Landis Avenue in Bristol, New Jersey. And so we got that covered. I wanted to tell you what's coming on at 7 p.m. tonight, and that is Gratitude Tuesday. We got a great show dealing with that, and so please stick around for that. And so on Thursday, we, as you all may know, we have our all recovery meeting. Once again, these meetings are hybrid meetings. You're more than welcome to come and participate and be a part of what we're doing and share some of your stories. And we love to hear from you. We love to see you inside our Capital Recovery Center building. And so we're located at 72 North Pearl Street. Please come out. And so all recovery meetings going to be at 1 p.m. this Thursday. Please come out and be a part of that. And so on tonight, Mike is not with me tonight. He has another engagement. And so if you haven't been out to the Millville event, which not the Millville, excuse me. Well, we throughout the Cumberland County area, and so Bridgeton, Millville, and Vineland, they having a event today. Please check your Facebook page because I'm quite sure a lot of information has been shared, or you can go to the Cumberland County website and find out all the fun stuff that we're doing in the community. All right, and so tonight I am solo, and if you don't know what solo means is, and so let me find exactly where I'm at. And so tonight we're going to be talking about establishing a new normal after rehab. And so let me give you an update what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from. So men in training, MIT mentoring. We have 3 objectives that we like to cover, and we've been going over this, and we're going to continue to go over this. And so 3 of our main objectives is leadership. That's so very important, whether it be in the household or within the community. Role models, that's number 2. That's the second objective, and empowerment. So this is a men's training, mentoring session. So we went over some topics already, and I'm gonna go over the first 4. And so there is 5 of them, but I'm gonna go over the first 4. First one we went over, we talked about the importance of recovery, and this is Capital Recovery Center. So we believe that recovery is so essential, very important to better our community and to better the lives of those who within our family and those who we engage. All right, resiliency. We went over that. Restoring family relationships. We talked about that. Last week we went over rebuilding finances. We talked about why is it so important to rebuild your finances after a long term of substance use disorder, because a lot of times our finances are out of order. And so we talked about that. And so all of these topics that I just mentioned, you can all revisit on our Cumberland County or our Capital Recovery Center page. And so today we want to talk about the fifth bullet point of our topic, and that is restructuring community dynamics. And so I thought it's important that we share and talk about restructuring community dynamics. And so with that, from this article titled Establishing a New Normal After Rehab, and I felt the need to share this information because a lot of times we who that's in recovery, that's maintaining our sobriety, is that we're faced with a lot of normalcy after experiencing a lot of abnormal behaviors. And so this article I thought was very valid, and this is brought to us by 12keysrehab.com. I want to give them a shout out because this is important. So tonight, I'm not going to do a lot of elaborating. I'm going to do a lot of reading, sharing information. And so please let us know how we're doing here in the community. And we love to have you to be a part of what we're doing here. So let me begin. It says addiction doesn't just disappear after your stay in rehab. It's just as much a part of you as the color of your eyes or a predisposition to high blood pressure. The first few weeks, months, or even years after rehab will be challenging but rewarding. And so we're talking about today restructuring the community dynamic. And so after rehab, there is a lot of challenges that we all face. And so there are many that we're going to talk about tonight. And so I just want to share this. Don't be afraid of change. And a lot of times change is very difficult for a lot of us, and because we're accustomed to doing things or behavior patterns that we're accustomed to doing for so long. So when we introduce the new ideas or new behaviors, it can be very challenging. But don't be afraid. Do not let that frighten you. Just be able to adapt and readjust. All right? And so it says, finding your new normal, whatever form it may take, can seem impossible. So it is important to take it one day at a time. The best way to successfully make the transition from rehab to a healthy, productive life is to know the importance of routine. Okay? Have a safe place to live and work and foster relationship with both people who understand what you've been through and those who can provide a solid support system. And so now we're talking about establishing a new normal after rehabs. All right? And so the first topic we want to talk about is be sure to return to a completely sober environment. That's so important when you're talking about restructuring community dynamics. You want to go into a sober dynamics. It says, after rehab, you'll need to come to terms with the fact that things will be different, and your living space needs to reflect that change. You'll want to take a step back, perhaps with the help of a counselor, and evaluate whether your home is a safe place where you can transition back to normal life as smoothly as possible. If you're unable to make significant changes that are a fit with your new lifestyle, perhaps you can stay with a friend or relative. These are alternatives that we're talking about that can support you during this challenging time. Surrounding yourself with people who make you feel positive, loved, and supported is essential during this period. And so it's talking about changing your living environment. And so that's part of your community, not wanting to return back to the abnormal community or a living environment that you once may have utilized when you was using drugs or alcohol, whatever the case may be. You may want to seek some professional help, whether it be a counselor, therapist, or even a recovery coach, just to ask the question, do you know a place where I can reside that can give me the best results dealing with my recovery. And so this is a MIT mentoring session. And so this is about men, helping men returning back into normalcy from abnormal behavior. All right. And so it say maybe you burned some bridges along the way, broken the bonds of trust among people that were once close before the addiction started to take its toll. That's okay. Rebuilding relationships may take some time, but it's all part of the road to recovery. If that's the case for you, you may want to move into a transitional sober living arrangement or to a new community that supports healthy living. Here at Capital Recovery Center, we help those who returning from residential treatment, those who are in some type of IOP. IOP stands for intensive outpatient, or OP, outpatient program that seeking to reside or seeking some type of accommodation, such as transitional housing or sober living house or Oxford housing. So we're here to assist you with that transition as well. All right. It says, if that's the case for you, you may want to move into a transitional sober living arrangement or to a new community that supports healthy living. For example, maybe there's an affordable yoga studio down the street, access to the beach, great hiking trails, or something else that could be part of a daily healthy routine. All right. If you don't feel like certain friends fit into the sobriety equation, it may be time to take a break from those relationships. Often people who have come out of a drug addiction will face strong peer pressure from friends who are still using. This is even more challenging if you're abstaining from alcohol, as most adults tend to socialize around the idea of grabbing drinks, going to a happy hour, cocktail party, etc. Drinking tends to go hand in hand with any barbecue, wedding, dinner party, birthday, and so on and so forth. It'll be a challenge to re-enter the real world, and you'll notice the looks when you order a Diet Coke at a bar or tell someone you aren't drinking anymore. Reconsider relationship with those who give you a hard time. Your true friends, watch this, it says your true friend will be supportive and empathetic. And so our abnormal behavior or that which causes us to become dependent on substances, and we begin to utilize them and make our lives unmanageable or our behavior alter our mind state, is that we think that we have to go to barbecues, we have to go to birthday parties, we have to go to dinner parties and participate or indulge as those who are actually drinking. To them, it may be they may have the coping skills to be able to socialize and function adequately, but those of us who face the disease of addiction, we may have a hard time. So while we're in recovery, we should try to avoid those places. We should avoid people who are participating in those activities as if to say you're not having a good time if you're not ordering a alcoholic beverage. And so be mindful of people, places, and things. That's what I'm really trying to get at. Be mindful of people, places, and things, because triggered urges and cravings go along with those type of environments. All right. And so the next one we want to talk about the benefits of establishing a regular schedule. Now we're talking about restructuring community dynamics. And so what we're talking about, men in training, we're talking about reestablishing men taking their rightful roles as leaders, role model, and we want to empower them with the right mindset, because it all starts from your perception, your core belief of how you think. It's the way you're going to respond to your actual environment. So MIT Men in Training is based upon gathering men to sharing their stories and strengthen one another let them know that you can be successful, you can function, you can benefit. There is benefits of establishing a regular schedule. And what that regular schedule entails, we're going to read it right now. A regular schedule will seem regimented and perhaps a bit silly at first, but for a recovering addict, it will become both comforting and the backbone of a successful recovery because you already experience a lot of change and inner turmoil as you adjust back into the grind of regular life. Creating a system that provides stability will help you feel in control, especially when the urge to use again rears its ugly head. People, even those without addiction issues, stand to benefit from a regular schedule. When you get back into the swing of things, you may find you are more productive than ever before. But without a plan, you may waste a lot of time or become overly anxious. There will be a lot to do. You're restructuring your entire life after all. Without a schedule in place, it'll be challenging to tackle everything in one fell swoop. If you become overwhelmed, the lure of drugs and alcohol could be too much to handle, and the risk of relapse is high. A regular routine means you actually get things done. When people do not adhere to a schedule, they are more likely to procrastinate or become overwhelmed quickly. At first, plan your daily schedule. Make sure you don't have large gaps of alone or idle time. Often, addicts will become bored without structure in their daily lives, and the urge to use comes creeping back in. Build a social time into your routine, right? Though you probably are anxious to rebuild your life, one of the biggest risks of relapse is feeling lonely. Surround yourself with friends, old and new, and be open to meeting people of all stripes. And so the article talks about some, establish some type of structure in your life. Don't allow yourself to become overwhelmed, and don't allow yourself to become bored. And so it talks about being creative, setting a schedule, setting a time frame for socializing, time frame for working, school, time frame for interacting with people, whether it be old or new, that is pulling for you or rooting for you or who are giving you some sound advice. Remember, this is a MIT, this is a men in training, mentoring session that we're talking about. And so we're talking about reestablishing a new normal after rehab. And so the next one we want to talk about is establish a day-to-day schedule. All right. And it says, when you're in recovery, the first few weeks might feel like time is just creeping by. You'll check the clock every few minutes, and getting through a few hours might seem an unsurmountable feat. Establishing a daily schedule for a recovering addict is their best chance at staying sober for the long haul. For the most part, a routine will look like a set of tasks dispersed throughout any given day. Some of us may find the idea of adhering to a set of routine day in and day out boring, right? Trust us, it's well worth the work to make the transition from rehab to real life run smoothly. We want to make it a smooth process. We don't want to take it as just the run of the mill. We just, wake up and do the same old thing. Put a little spice into it, and we're going to get into some of the spices that you can put into your schedule, all right? And to say, to get started, talk with a therapist or staff member while you're still in rehab. They'll help you take stock of your life and develop a plan that meets your needs. Start with the basics, just the things you know you can stick with, and write them in a day book or calendar. We talked to a lot of these sessions, if you've ever been watching us, we talk about writing a journal, take some notes, because a lot of times we have fleeting ideas that come and go. And so sometimes we may be so busy in that we may forget it. So the best way to not forget something is, if you have time, if you have a notebook or journal or a little notepad or sticky, write them down so that helps you to jog down your memory more efficiently. All right. And so it says, eventually there may come a day where you'll have to stray from the master plan, but you'll be able to maintain some sense of structure like an old pro. All right. It said your routine will be specific to your own set of needs, but here are some ideas of the types of things your schedule may include. Let's talk about it. Sleep and wake schedule. Go to sleep at the same time each night and wake up around the same time each morning. You know, we got a saying, go to sleep early, wake up early, you know, because a lot of times, and I notice for myself, I am in recovery, and I know for a fact that when you get the proper rest, the next morning you'll be more alert, more aware. And if you ever work in a warehouse or factory type setting where there is equipment going on, whether it be forklift or machinery, operating machinery, you have to be. They teach you safety first, and so in order to be safe, you have to be aware and you have to be awake and focused. And the only way you can maintain that type of safety is that you get to proper rest and sleep at night. And a lot of times, I remember my mom used to tell me when I'm going to share this story with you before we move on. She used to say, if you go to bed early, you wake up early, because if you wake up too late, all the jobs going to be gone by the time you get started. And so if you get up early enough time, you may be somebody to the job that you're seeking. All right, that's just a little word to wives. All right, the second we're going to talk about fitness, and I wish Mike was here because this is one of his favorite. Establishing an exercise routine, like going for a run each morning or a post-work trip to the gym. Having a fitness routine will help you set small goals you can achieve one step at a time. Much like your addiction recovery as a whole, it can be a real confident boost to see your body change over time. Woo! That is some good stuff right there, because it's so important. It builds your confidence. It builds motivation. Some people have self-motivation. Some people need an extra push, extra boost. But if you want to see good results, try working out. You can take small steps. A lot of people think they have to lift all these heavy weights and do all these push-ups, and you can gradually. That's what anything in life. Just gradually do it, and you'll become more successful at it. Meal times. Let's talk about eating right. Try to eat meals around the same time. This can help control impulses to eat in order to fill the void drugs have left behind. You'll get used to when you become hungry and learn to listen to your body's natural rhythm once again. And so it talks about eating at a certain time. Not only just eating at a certain time, but eating the right foods. And a lot of times, I learned when I was in therapeutic community, and we used to talk about the importance of not putting too much caffeine in your body and not putting too much sugar in your body, because I learned that if you do either or, it has you. It's like an elevator, like a roller coaster ride. Sugar gives you a stimulant, caffeine gives you that jittery, nervous thing, and then it makes you crash, and then you feel miserable. And so, be mindful of what you intake, what you do to your body. Treat it as a temple. And let's talk about the other one, socializing. Schedule time to socialize with friends and family. We cannot emphasize this enough. Your social ties will strengthen you. However, if there's any hint of a bad influence, you should move on. That's so important. If you're around people who is talking negatively, and if you're able to recognize that they're talking negatively, say to yourself, maybe that person is not the person that you want to be around, because a lot of times people have a tendency to drain or pour their negativity onto you, or try to drain your energy from you into them. And so don't be a doormat for anyone who's telling you the wrong thing. always try to think positive and also respond positive. All right, and so that's dealing with socialized hobbies. Find a few things you like to do to keep your hands busy and challenge your brain. Make these part of your life routine. The other one talks about work. If you're returning to work right away, try to keep to a regular schedule if your workplace allows. Don't take any work home with you if possible. Some addicts feel compelled to do let me read that again. Some addicts feel compelled to use due to feelings of stress, and feeling pressure from work may lead an addict back down the wrong path. Be careful. And that's so true. The article said, don't take your work home with you. If you run into an issue at work and that you and a coworker or you and your coworker got into it or y'all had a misunderstanding and y'all didn't agree upon something, leave that issue at work, talk to somebody, and so that you can relieve that stress, because that's all it's going to be is stress, and don't carry it home. Because as the article says, we in recovery, we have a tendency, if we don't have the right coping skills or coping mechanism in place, or alternative or a support network where we can confide someone 9/10 of the time, it may lead to a relapse. And so avoid those situations as much as possible. Spirituality. You don't necessarily need to find religion or start going to church if it's not your thing. But many former addicts find it helpful to be part of something positive. If you aren't religious, find solace in nature or look inward. Practice meditation or write your thoughts down in a journal. I talked about a journal earlier. If you take the time to nurture your spiritual side, you'll find the path toward recovery is lined with insights and truth about yourself as a person. I made mention earlier in the broadcast where on Thursday we have an all recovery meeting at 1 p.m. on Thursday. All right. And so with that entail, there are many shapes, forms, and fashion of recovery. Me, myself, I use religion as my stability, as my foundation. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I use that as my source to all resources. So you may have a different outlet or different connectivity of doing things positive that you can utilize for your growth. I don't discourage you. I welcome it, but I'm just sharing with you what I use as my rock. All right, group. Let's talk about group. Join some kind of recovery group and attend regular sessions. At first, you may need to attend every day or every few weeks, but eventually you may be able to cut back. Budget time to connect with others that have been in your situation. All right? They may be able to offer some perspective. And so group setting is very, very important. It's very, very great because you meet, I know when I was going to groups on a regular, I met some amazing people that they didn't look like me, they didn't walk like me, they didn't talk like me, but we shared some similarities. However, they was doing some amazing thing in their recovery, and I was amazed first of all, and then I was pleased to be around the people that was doing good. And so please come out if you know somebody that want to be a part of this mentoring group that we're doing every Tuesday at 5. Please let them know this is a hybrid. All right. And so let's talk about keep your home clean. All right. Keeping things tidy helps set the tone for the rest of the day. It's easy to get things done when starting with a clean slate. You'll feel more prepared and control when life hits you with challenges. A guy once told me, he says, a healthy environment is a manifestation of a healthy mind. And so start out with that perspective, keeping everything in order, organized. It helps you not to be cluttered and frustrated throughout the day. It said, keep Keep yourself clean. This is very important as well. Establish a nightly routine where you take your time in the bath or shower for products that smell nice and create a sense of calm. Wash your face and brush your teeth at the same time each morning. Taking care of yourself will help you feel calm and set you up for a more productive day. The small things really adds up. All right. And we want to talk about reading. And so this is going to be the last one that I'm going to share with you before we sign off. Reading. Books are good for the mind and for staying on boredom. Read to stay sharp or to learn something new. Self-improvement doesn't stop when you leave the rehab center. Be sure to include some quiet time for reading into your daily routine. It'll be a good time for you to reflect on your sobriety, connect with your spiritual side, and help cultivate new interests. All right. And so those are some helpful tips that I hope that help someone today along the way. And so join us next week at 5 o'clock. I call it Live at 5, MIT Men in Training Mentoring Group. We're going to go over some more topics, some helpful topics. Let us know what we can do better. Contact us here at Capital Recovery Center. We can be reached at 856-391-7449. All right. Have a blessed day. Take care.